Right now, I'm joined by the current UFC bantamweight champion and Olympic medalist in judo. She's going to face Liz Carmouche in the UFC's first ever women's bout. It's the main event of UFC 157. It's at the Honda Center in Anaheim Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's available on pay-per-view. I am joined by Ronda Rousey. Ronda, it is great to have you on. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing? It's been a while.
It's been a while, Ronda. It's been a minute or two. You got a big week. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm fortunate enough that I get to do my interviews today from bed, so I have not even rolled out of bed yet.
Hell yes, I like that. It's real nice for you.
Yeah.
You get a cup of coffee.
I didn't put on any dress or boots on for you today, man.
No, you didn't. You're not sporting one of those gigantic bruises on your thigh still, are you?
No, that's more during the training part. When it comes down to fight, we take it easy towards the end, and then we heal up. So I feel nice. I feel good.
That. I like it. So you're in bed. You still got your jammies on. You're rapping with me. Take me back, Ronda, to last August. Dana White invited you to dinner at Mr. Chow's. And for those who know, it's an amazing restaurant. In fact, I'm going to say it's my favorite restaurant ever. Why did he invite you out to dinner, and why was it important to have at Mr. Chow's?
Well, we were going to go see the Sons of Anarchy premiere. He called me up out of nowhere and was like, "Want to go see the Sons of Anarchy premiere?" And I'm like, "Oh, my God, I love the show." And, "Oh, my God, Dana White's asking me, sure," you know. So he's like, "Yeah, come meet me at Mr. Chow's before, and we'll all go together." And so I ran over there, and he sat me down, and he said, "Look, there's something really important about this restaurant. A year or so ago, when I was walking out of here, TMZ stopped me and asked me if women were ever going to be in the UFC, and I said never. And I wanted to bring you back into this same restaurant and tell you that you're going to be in the UFC." And I just thought that was awesome. I don't know, it's just like the coolest way to deliver the news, you know? It was awesome of him. And then we went to the premiere, and then right after that, the after party was at Gladstone's, where I used to be a bartender at, so that I got to go rub it in the faces of all my old bosses.
With your new boss, Ronda Rousey, joining us. So, Ronda, you had no idea. When he called you, you had no idea that he was going to say you, or that's what he was looking to do that night?
No, I had no idea that was why.
All right, so when he used to say before that he was never interested in women fighting, I mean, was it your goal to get to the UFC? And when you heard him say things like that, how'd that make you feel?
Yeah, it was always my goal to get to the UFC. And when I heard that stuff before, it wasn't discouraging to me. I didn't think that he was a bad person because he thought that. I just thought that I needed to give him a reason to agree with me. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to make myself just impossible to ignore and make it so he can't deny that the women have a fan base and they can make the UFC a lot of money, and there's something that he should invest in. And so I did that the only way that I knew how, which was to go fight the best I can and look the best way I could and talk the most entertainingly possible.
Ronda Rousey joining us. So you get the opportunity, and you earn that opportunity, and it's not just that you're going to be at UFC 157. It's not just that you're on that card. You're headlining that card this weekend, and there are some great male fighters on that card. Guys like Dan Henderson, Lyoto Machida, Uriah Faber, Josh Koscheck. So what does it mean to you not only to be on that card, but to be the headliner?
It's amazing, and the amount of support that I've gotten from a lot of the guys has been really touching as well, and it really gives a lot of legitimacy to the women. Every single title fight in the UFC ever is always headlining. And when they bring the women over and they have them headline as well, it shows that they're really taking the women seriously and they're treating them just the same as the guys are. Like, you know what? The girls are here. They got their own division. They're headlining as well. That's just the way it is.
All right, so you're getting a lot of support from the guys, but generally, when you walk into a new gym, what is the reaction?
When I walk into a new gym, I mean, it's different when you're a chick because people think like, oh, you know, even if they know who you are, they think like, oh, this is so-and-so, but is she really good? Or is it just hype, or is it just, you know? And if you're a guy and you walk into a gym, it seems like your reputation carries over a little bit more. And so I still kind of feel like every time I walk into a new gym, I have to prove myself all over again.
Yeah, like, so when some guy that they know of you, but they don't know you, and they try and show you something, are they just trying to be nice and they trying to be helpful, or do you feel like that's a sign of disrespect? Like, you know who the hell I am?
I think if I was Anderson Silva, they wouldn't come and try and show me anything. But, I mean, sometimes people are just trying to be nice, and sometimes it's just like there's no malicious intent behind it, but I do realize that I'm being treated differently.
Ronda Rousey, my guest. All right, so what about this weekend? I mean, Is winning the thing, or do you feel pressure that because this is it, all eyes are on you, that just winning is not enough? You got to put on a real good show this weekend.
I always have to put on a good show every time I fight. I wouldn't have got to this point if I didn't put on a good show every single time. And that was something I learned from judo was, you could have 5 to 7 matches in a day, and though the final match of the day, the final is what decides the gold medal, the first, second, third, fourth, all those fights leading up to it, you need to win those in order to get to that fight. They're all just as important as the final. So every fight leading up to this, I treated it as if it was the UFC title, because I would not get to the UFC title unless I won all of those and I won them impressively. So I'm treating this exactly the same. It's not like they're asking me to go out and build a model airplane. This is what I'm the best of the world at, and I shouldn't feel that nervous about it, because it's what I do. It's what I'm good at.
No, and you've put in the time, and look, you're not just another pretty face. I mean, you've been on the grind, and you've been working towards this moment. And you said something about Gladstone's, that you went there after Mr. Chow's, and you got to sit in a restaurant where you used to work and serve other people drinks. And you just mentioned judo. So when you won the bronze medal in judo, it was a really nice accomplishment. But what was it like when you came back from Beijing? For instance, what sorts of doors opened up for you after you won that bronze?
To be honest, there weren't really any doors open for me after winning the Olympic medal. There's nothing put in place for Olympians after they're done. There's no scholarship programs. There's no job placement. I mean, there's just, a few grand and a handshake. I got enough money to pay for half of a 2005 Honda Accord that was used, and that was pretty much it. That was what I got from my Olympic medal. And there are some Olympians that make a lot of money, and there's some that just devote their entire lives to representing their country and being at the pinnacle of their sport, and they end up with pretty much nothing in the end. And unfortunately, I was one of those people, and I had to find some other way to to get by,
Yeah, so how did you get by? I mean, so no doors are opening up. You can't cash in on it any way at all. What were those days like, and how did you get by? What did you do?
I had 2 bartending jobs, and I had another job as a cocktail server, and I was just kind of doing that and grappling every once in a while, and I didn't really have any direction or plan. I thought maybe I'd just end up being a bartender for the rest of my life. I really thought that for a while, and then I was thinking, I had an opportunity to become a rescue swimmer for the Coast Guard, and so I was thinking, I'm like, okay, that sounds like a really cool job. That sounds like a great idea, and I was grappling in the meantime, and all these guys were talking to me about doing MMA, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try the MMA thing out. If it doesn't work out, I'm going to go to the Coast Guard. And when I went and told my mom that, she was working at USC at the time, so she was like, you should go back to school, and you should do the school thing. And I was always miserable behind a desk. I wasn't meant for a desk. And so I just asked her to give me 1 year. Just give me a year, and I'll try and make it work. And I made my pro debut in March 3rd of 2011, and I won the world title. I made my pro debut March 23rd, 2011, and I won the world title March 3rd of 2012. So 20 days shy, I made it.
Ronda Rousey joining us. Ronda, is it true that when you were doing multiple jobs or had multiple jobs, did you actually live in your car for a while?
Yeah. I was between apartments, and I didn't have enough money for deposit and the first month's rent and all that stuff, and so I was just to save money to make enough to feel like I wasn't in trouble of being evicted once I did get an apartment. I saved some money by being in my car for a bit.
So your mom was a doctor. Could you not just go to her and say, hey, Moms, can I crash here for a little while?
Yeah, I'm a really proud person. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want her to be worried about me, and so I felt like I was fine, that I could function, and I didn't need to push my problems onto other people.
See, this is my whole point about you being on the grind and you fighting for everything that you have right now. One last thought about that time and that process. I mean, you come out of the Olympics and you want to work out. You want to stay fit. You want to stay sharp. So you go to a 24-hour fitness. They were an official U.S. Olympic team partner. I mean, did you go to them and say, hey, do you mind? Can I get a workout or 2 in here? And what was the response?
Oh, they told me that I can't come in unless I pay because I'm not a member. Or, it's just, even when I was currently competing in the Olympics, I would walk in and I'd be like, hey, I want to come work out. And they got all these big Olympic banners and stuff like, well, I'm sorry, but you have to call the USOC and get your national government body to give a call and get a certificate and do all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, like, you guys pay millions of dollars to put Olympic rings all over your products, and you won't even let Olympic medalists come walk in and run on your treadmill? I mean, doesn't it help your business to like have Olympians training at your gym? And they're just like, no, you're out of luck. So I mean, it's just really insulting. Like, you know, I feel like I devote my whole life to trying to get to the limits of my sport and represent my country, and these so-called companies that are sponsors and supporters won't even let me be in their building without paying. It's just, it really is insulting. And every single time I walk past 24-Hour Fitness, I want to steal their little Olympic flags because I don't deserve them.
Ronda Rousey joining us. Ronda, you're a nice person, and you're not one to name drop yourself. But what you should have done, I think, is when they said to you, hey, give us that little plastic card to swipe, you should have beat them over the head with your bronze medal or try to swipe your bronze medal and see if that worked.
No, if I beat them with a bronze medal, I mean, I showed them my tattoos before. Like, I was like, look, I got Olympic rings on me. I swear I'm an Olympian. Here's my Olympic alumni card. I had an Olympic alumni card. They're just like, nope, sorry.
You're an Olympian, and I'm the manager, and nobody uses our treadmill for even 10 seconds for free. Keep moving. That's really something.
Yeah, exactly.
Ronda, who taught you the arm bar? You've won six fights early on with that arm bar. Who taught you that move originally?
My mom did. She was the first American to ever win the world championships in judo, and instead of showing me how to do my laundry, she showed me how to put girls in arm bars, and, you know, just like most chicks do at that age.
Every mom should teach their daughter an arm bar. So when you do it and you execute the right way, what's that feel like?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really like put that much thought into it. It's like riding a bike to me. It's not like I'm thinking about really what I'm doing. It's just a reaction. And when I get into the actual submission, I know when it's at the point where it starts to hurt the girl. And I've tried to give them opportunities to get out and stuff like that before. And like I got in one arm bar before where the girl was putting her other arm out to stop herself, and I knew that once her hand hit the ground, it would force her other elbow to dislocate. So I let off. I let my legs come off, and I let pressure off the joint because she was yelling tap 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 while she was falling, and so I let off to try and save her arm and help her out. And then she got up, and after the referee called it, she's like, I didn't tap, like. And I just got to the point where like, oh, wow, I just can't trust my opponents, to be honest. So once I get into the end of the submission, I just have to try and finish it because that's what we do. And no matter how nice the girl is to me beforehand, I can't trust them, to be honest.
Ronda Rousey, my guest. Ronda, one last thought, and you've been great with your time. Have you started shopping houseboats for the inevitable zombie attack? Because you and I both know it's coming.
I know after this fight, if I put on a good show and get a good bonus, I might be looking for my zombie houseboat.
Ronda Rousey joining us. The fight is part of UFC's 157 card. She's going to fight Liz Carmouche. It's at the Honda Center in Anaheim. It's 10 p.m. Eastern time this weekend, and it's on pay-per-view. Ronda, I appreciate you doing this one for me. I'm glad you didn't have to get out of bed for it. That's nice. Must be nice.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty convenient. This is one of the most relaxing interviews I've had in a while.
Love it. Good for you. Listen, good luck this weekend, all right?
Thank you.
Good talking to you, Ronda. Appreciate you. Ronda Rousey, I told you, she has star quality. She is a star. She is very tough, very competitive, very athletic, very funny. You know, and I say this not to be sexist, but she's very pretty, and that helps her brand and her marketing. But that in and of itself wouldn't be enough. I mean, she's got the entire package. Very smart, very quick, very athletic, very mean when she has to be, very tough, and she looks great, and she sounds great, and she's funny. Started the interview up by saying, I'm great today. I haven't gotten out of bed yet. I'm just conducting this interview from bed.